because Cameroon seemed to be going all down from the African Cup of Nations down to the World Cup, and now the African Nations Championship. All right, we've got a Cameroonian sports journalist joining us all the way from Biu, Cameroon. And we've got Valentine Bambos online right now. Thank you so much for joining us on the show.
Thank you so very much for having me. It's always a pleasure.
A pleasure to have you too. But Cameroon only needed a draw against Niger Republic to advance into the last 8 of the African Nations Championship. Remember, they opened their campaign. It's a 1-0 win over Congo Brazzaville in that 3-team group. Now, do you feel a bit disappointed with the failure of the Cameroonian team to pick the round of 16 ticket, Valentine?
Yes, very much disappointed. Everyone in Boya is disappointed. The entire continent or the entire country is disappointed. If you watch the impression on the face of the Cameroon Football Federation, Samuel Eto'o was also very much disappointed because the pre-match press conference, the coach Aliou Seydou, and even the players all talk about the fact that they are taking this game as a final. But that's not what we watched yesterday. We saw a very lackluster Cameroon side. Clear chances they could capitalize. They did not. I think Niger was the better side yesterday and they deserved the win. It's a very disappointing loss for Cameroon.
Okay, following that elimination, we're sorry about that disappointment, but the elimination of the Indomitable Lions, will the Cameroonian Football Federation retain or even retain their fate? The faith they've got in the technical team, because we know poor results brings the hammer. Do you think the Cameroonian Football Federation, led by Soumaila Eto'o, will release the hammer?
I don't think so, because if you look at the performance of Coach Aliou, it's better than what Rigobert's son recorded with the Intermediate Lions of Cameroon when they played in the tournament some few years back. Back in 2018, they had, I think, one of the worst records in the competition, went on to the commission and were unable to win a single game. I think Coach Aliou had a couple of technical blunders in yesterday's game, and it will not cost his job. Coach Aliou and his assistant are very respected personalities here in the country. If you talk about Coach Aliou, you know about his time in the Indomitable Lions, then his assistant as well. They are both respected personalities, and I think that's the reason why the president of the Cameroon Football Federation put his hope in them in the first place.
Okay.
Davy Pius as well, a former footballer with the Indomitable Lions, the assistant coach of the Intermediate Lions. They are going to keep their place, but in my opinion, but I think they need so much work to be done in the den of the Intermediate Lions. Okay,
all right. I believe that Samuel Eto'o knows how to keep his own in the house. Remember that he had to sack Conceição so as to allow Rigobert's son take over the Indomitable Lions, the senior team. But since Samuel Eto'o became the FECAFOOT president in 2021, how would you describe the national team's performance in major tournament under his tenure? Do you think he's under any pressure to get these teams to make a statement, being a former player of the game?
That's right. He's under so much pressure. This is because a lot was going wrong when he was on the sidelines as a former footballer. He witnessed these things going wrong at the helm of the national team. The cankerworm that was eating deep into Cameroon's football was corruption. I think a year later, since he was president, he's been able to bring stakeholders in Cameroon football on board his vision of pushing out corruption. Now it's all about performance. The last time we were talking about how the Cameroon Football League, that's the MTN League One Football Championship, has been able to grow since he came at the helm of the MTN of the Cameroon Football Federation. That is happening very much well. But the performance now in the national team is what matters. He's been able to bring coaches of Cameroonian origin at the helm of these teams, but they have not, in my own opinion, been able to replicate the trust or to carry on with the trust that he has bestowed in them. Coach Rigobert's son, yes, he had a very memorable campaign in Qatar, but he could have done better. There are a couple of mistakes that he made. Aliou as well yesterday. You win a game, your first match, and you just need a single point to qualify for the quarterfinals, and then you come into a game playing a defensive game. It doesn't happen in a game of football. For the Indomitable Lions that have feared the entire continent, all over the continent, where you mentioned the Indomitable Lions of Cameroon, they are feared. So how can you go up against Niger and you're playing a defensive game from the very first minute? Also, there has to be a degree of mobilization in all the dens, from the under-17 to the Intermediate Lions to the national team, How can we have our players shoot from distance? That has been a problem with the Cameroon national team. They always want to go right into the box before they create chances. That's the same thing that happened yesterday.
Okay, Valentine.
Players ambitious enough.
All right, Valentine, before we let you go, quickly, please, does the performance of the Indomitable Lions at the African Nations Championship right now reflect what football looks like in the Cameroonian Football League?
Not a true reflection, because we've had a revitalization of our league. Last African Nations Championship that Cameroon hosted, it was a miracle that Cameroon went down to the semi-finals of the competition. But this group of players, you've seen Gom, you've seen Malone, you've seen the likes of the goalkeeper, one of the youngest in the competition. These are players who are proving it in the Cameroon Professional Football League. The Cameroon Professional Football League is growing and is growing very much well since Soumaila came to power. What the president needs now is just for these players to go out there and prove that their league is a representation of what they are doing out there.
Thank you so much, Valentine Bambos, for your breakdown there. But we'll be hoping that Cameroon will pick up from where they left at the African Nations Championship and do better in all the continental and international competition. Thank you so much. Do have a lovely day.
And you too. Thank you for having me.